Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, I'm going to be doing a reading. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I was told is it's time to rebuild it all. It's time. It's time. So, it's time. So, just a little disclaimer. I'm probably going to be socially awkward today. Okay. Alrighty. By the way, good morning to Miss Ross from Lakewood. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much for that. All right. Here goes. Okay. Concealment. So there's something being hidden. Either you are hiding something from yourself or something is being hidden from you. Now, with the title being It's Time to Rebuild It All, I'm wondering if what you're building or rebuilding is needing to be hidden for a little bit. I'm wondering if maybe this is a period where you need to keep a lot of what you're doing kind of under wraps. Now, not everyone in your circle is for you. Not everyone in your circle actually celebrates you when you succeed at things, when you make progress. Some are around and they, politely clap, politely smile, but they're not actually happy that you're succeeding. 99% at 819. That's 99. 1 plus 8 is 9, 9. 9999 is 1818, which is 9 and 9, which is 18 again, which is 9. This is basically divinity speaking to you right now. Sometimes you have to allow people to believe that you are left destroyed exactly where they destroyed you. Rebuild quietly. Allow yourself to experience periods where the things you're accomplishing are strictly for you to know. You and a very, very select couple people who are part of that process, that project, whatever it is. Not everyone in your circle is there to watch you succeed. Some, which means it's more than one person, some people come around and watch you consistently, waiting and hoping to witness you fall and stay down. There is nothing wrong with falling. You get back up and you keep going. The beautiful thing about walking is it's the precursor to running, right? What is a walk? What happens when you walk? When you're looking at it from a mechanical point of view, you are basically in a continued fall. You fall and you stop yourself, and you fall and you stop yourself, and you fall and you stop yourself, and you fall and you stop yourself. That's what walking actually is. Where before you lose your balance completely, you put your other leg forward. And instead of falling all the way, You now have built up some momentum to continue with this, and you continue to walk and walk and walk. Now, someone in your circle, more than one person, is the sense that I'm getting. Um, again, really is not hoping for your success. So be careful with that, okay? Don't go and accuse anyone of anything, but just really watch. Really, really, really allow your intuition and your empathy, your sensitivity to other people's emotions and feelings, their energy. Allow that to really guide you, because you can tell, I'm sure you already know who this is if this applies to you. You can tell when they're not really happy about you, about what you're achieving. They're none of your business as long as they are not actively planning to interfere with what you're doing. So, concealment, again, the first card, you're probably going to need to keep quite a few things under wraps for now. Okay. For now. Guardian. It seems like you haven't been guarding yourself, your energy, and your heart enough. Okay, so that's definitely something you have to take into consideration. This is not going to apply to everyone, but for those that this applies to, you're going to feel this resonance of like, you know what? I figured so and so was not being genuine with me. They probably weren't. Oh my God, my stomach is talking to you guys. They probably weren't. Every time, oh my God. I smashed my finger. Every time that I've had something horrible happen to me, every time someone has tried to do horrible things to me, my intuition had already told me, but I went ahead and convinced myself that I was just being mean. How many of you can relate to that, right? You tell yourself, no, I can't be this way. I shouldn't be mean. I need to give people a chance. I need to trust people. I have trust issues. Honey, what you think are trust issues is you having a very good long term memory. You have a very good long term memory. That's not a trust issue. See, trust has to be built up, it has to be earned continuously. Has to be earned and built over many, many, many years. Many, many, many years. Oh my God, I think I downloaded this video. Hold on. This is just such sage advice. I found myself nodding so hardcore. I downloaded it and like, one of these days when I finally get over myself and my issues and live stream again. I was saying this last night. I'm going to share this with my people. So I'm live streaming right now because I didn't want to leave Miss Mary Lou waiting for any more videos. I'm serious. That's why I'm live streaming right now. There are those of you who are just absolutely cherished by my heart. And you guys definitely are the ones that get me out of my funk quite often. All right, let me share this.
All right, guys, this is pissing me off. So I'm gonna give you some red flags on that's not your friend, that's not a good person per se. That could be a problematic person. So hopefully we can prevent this from happening. And overall, condolences to her family. All I see is my daughter. And this is the stuff that I have conversations with my daughter about right now. And she's 7. So hopefully, if you're seeing this, you're 7, you're 17. Remember what I'm about to tell you, because these are some signs that
7, 17, 27, 37.
Now, one thing that I like to say over and over again is y'all confuse like for trust. You meet somebody, you click, they got a good vibe. You think all of a sudden, because y'all click, they got a good vibe, they should be in your house. They should be picking you up. They should know where your front door is. No. My phrase is this: trust, love, loyalty, honesty, and friendship come through actions over time. Like is the only thing that is automatic. You may like somebody very early on. That doesn't mean you know shit about them. Do not confuse like with trust.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should know where you live that fast. Not a man, not a woman, not a nobody. Do not allow people that you barely know to stay with you, okay? First of all, in your 20s, everybody's getting settled, but my daughter can always come home. If my daughter ever fucks up our relationship so bad to where she can't come home, that means she's out of control. And if that's the case, then I'm gonna be clear that these people who never have anybody's house to stay at and they need to stay on your couch or stay in your extra room or whatever, they have fucked up their relationships with other people. Do not let somebody you just cool with stay with you. If you decided to room with somebody you've known for years and years and years, that's one thing. Otherwise, don't take these side stories in. They fucked up their relationship with other people and they're gonna fuck it up with you.
I just want to interject. Don't be so convinced that you are here to save people and heal the world to the degree that you take on other people's issues as your own, welcoming it into your house and taking ownership of it. I'm just saying.
If somebody comes to you and tells you such and such was talking about you, and a part of them telling you was not them saying, "Hey, you're not gonna talk about them in front of me. That's my girl. That's my people. That's my people. You're not gonna talk about her in front of me." If they didn't tell you they said that, they both fucked up because you need to question her to why that person felt comfortable talking about you in front of them. Because they feel like, oh, you don't like her either. I can talk about her in front of you. They coming back and tell you for what?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody dating dope boys. You shouldn't be dating dope boys either. I'm sorry, dope boys. My bad. But no. They shouldn't know where you live either. I had to explain to somebody one upon a time. I had a studio apartment. They were staying with me. I said, they run up in here looking for you to hurt them. They're not going to sit there and say, oh, is it you? Is it which one? They're killing us both. So your friends dating dope boys is a problem for you. Any of your friends in domestic violence issues. I know everybody want to save somebody else. The reason a lot of people don't get involved is statistically, people who are in abusive relationships return to that relationship an average of 7 times. And if they don't leave eventually, they will end up dead. And if that person is violent enough, they can bring that violence to you. You don't need that either. Or get on you for hopping in to try to protect them. You can end up unalived as well. Any females with hot temper that's always trying to start some shit, it's one thing to be able to defend yourself, but it's another one who's they always in the middle of some bullshit. All red flags.
Boom. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Those are some truth nuggets like no other. Those are truth nuggets, you know? And it's getting to a point where you need to really understand a lot of what you've been taught, literally pretty much everything. You can assume pretty much everything that you've been taught has been a very distorted half truth. When I say that, it's bordering on a full on lie. Okay. So you're going to need to start questioning, thinking for yourself, really, really allowing yourself to use that intuition, that free thinking, your logic paired with intuition is uneffing stoppable. It is unstoppable. Before I ever watched this video, years ago, through most of my life, okay, most of my life, and let's be real here, because I didn't speak to anyone from like kindergarten all the way up till maybe like high school. So it's more like my adult life. Anytime someone has come up to me and told me, so and so has said blah, 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 blah about you. Mm-hmm. Now, why they feel so comfortable telling you all this? What exactly did you say? Because my mama didn't raise no fool. She raised someone with OCD, ADHD, Asperger's, and a whole shit of other things. She didn't raise no fool. I might not read social cues very well. I might be socially awkward most days, and I might not talk a lot in person, but I'm not dumb. Whatever made that person think that you are a safe space for them to spew their hatred about me. And then you still friends. So what? I'm sorry, to do recon for me? Yeah. No. No. I have one rule when it comes to conflict with other people. If you are cool with the people who dislike me, because really it's not that I dislike anyone, I'm kind of just like, I do my own thing. I just do my own thing, right? If you are cool with the people who dislike me, and typically people dislike me because I'm who I am, you go stay at their table because I'm not afraid to eat alone. The owner of the restaurant doesn't need a full table. If you're going to be cool with the people who have maligned me, we are not going to be cool. I'm not going to have hatred for you. I'm not going to have dislike for you. I'm definitely going to have an ambivalence. Let's define the word ambivalence. Let's see. Having mixed feelings or contradictory ideas about something or someone. Having or showing simultaneous and contradictory attitudes or feelings towards something or someone. People whose relationship to their job is ambivalent, conflicted. That means I'm not going to trust you. And if I'm not going to trust you, that means you get no part of me. You see, I'm huge on trust. And if I can't trust you with my existence, then I can't trust you. And you can't be a part of my life. And that's just that. And it doesn't have to be someone who has intentions to harm you, right? They don't have to have that intention. It has to be someone who fails to recognize the need you have for safety, for autonomy, for mutually beneficial connections, for mutual levels of respect, consideration, cherishment, all of that. It doesn't mean that everyone that I don't trust cannot be a part of my life, at least on the fringes, right? It doesn't mean that I'm going to go out of my way to make you feel badly because I don't feel like you're trustworthy. It means I am fully aware of your proper place in my life, and that is where you will remain. That's all that means. And it's okay for you to be aware of someone's proper place in your life and to leave them there in that space. It could be on the outskirts of your existence. It can be somewhere near the actual wall. It's okay for you to have walls. It's not okay for you to use those walls to imprison yourself. This is about moderation and balance, allowing your awareness to show you where you're at. And instead of having a prison, you can have a beautiful fortress. And just because it looks formidable on the outside does not mean it has to lack life on the inside. I was telling my husband the other day, because like I'm a Grinch. I hate holidays. I do. I have a amazing family and we have good times during holidays, but I just feel like it's I feel like it's a bit odd for any type of governmental whatever to dictate to me what I should celebrate on what day. You know what I'm saying? So we don't do that. I find it very odd when people feel like they have to do all of these things because other people are doing it. So I was telling my husband the other day, and you know, all our neighbors, this new place we're at, the neighbors are just like super gung ho with Christmas. I'm just, that's a lot of electricity. And I was telling him, like, I do want to decorate inside the house for the season, but I don't think I want to put any decorations outdoors just because I didn't like that. I don't like that. If you look at where we're at right now, we never really see cars or anything like that. It's kind of like you see us run errands and then we come back home and close the garage, and that's that. We don't advertise the goodness that we live. We just don't. We don't. That doesn't mean that just because you see a fortress outside, there's a lack of life inside. It doesn't mean that at all. So you can have your fortress, but live in it. Make it into your sanctuary. Allow the walls to maintain your peace, not to imprison you and cause more anxiety, cause more distortions in your perceptions about yourself and the world. I mean, so many of us have these distorted beliefs about the world. Either we're extreme about the ugliness or extreme about blinding ourselves to the existing ugliness. There's ugly and there's beauty. The reason there's both is to help you better define what each one means to you. I think a lot of the problems that we face as we're rebuilding our sense of self is that we still use other people's definitions of their perceptions of us. No, other people don't get to define me anymore. And they shouldn't be defining you either. You should create your own definition of who you are, what you're here for, what you need to do in life, and begin building upon that idea until the idea becomes a reality. And until that reality is real, keep plugging away, keep going at it, allowing yourself to better and better and better cultivate a sense of who you actually are. Mm, mm. So many people mask because you're already aware the world will only accept you so long as you play a certain role, myself included. And it's this thing of expending so much energy in playing a caricature of only one aspect of you, right? I get stuck in these cycles where I will only allow one aspect of myself to come forward. And then, then it becomes this thing of who am I and what am I doing and all of that, those questions. And sometimes when you enter into those spaces, it makes you feel like, oh my gosh, have I been being fake? And it's like, no, that's still a valid aspect of you, but it's just not all of who you are. In order to rebuild in such a way that can be maintained long term, that it can be allowed to thrive, to flourish, you have to allow all aspects of yourself to come forward, not all at once, but come forward as they are deemed necessary by your intuition and your logic together. See, those two are supposed to be married. Yeah, I was never supposed to be one or the other. They're married. Intuition and logic come together. See, your intuition is your soul speaking to you and guiding you, feeding you tidbits of your spiritual plan, this plan that was created for you in your life with wiggle room for you to choose the details of how you will experience these events. And then your logic, well, that's you and your control center and your ability to decide exactly how you'll experience things. See, your soul allows you the freedom to choose how you will experience things, and your logic is what will dictate to you the way you actually do. When you allow them to exist in a married state, ooh, you become unshakable. Hmm. Yeah, that movement you feel, it's just a vibration. It's not you actually being uprooted. And the fear of you losing your place in your life goes away. It goes away. But I mean, this is just my perception. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, I'm saying. It's up to you how you want to take these words. See? Lack of stability. This sense of being upside down. It has to do with your ethos. The mindset that exists around you is the mindset you will adopt within you. Quote me on that. The mindset that exists outside of you is a mindset you will adopt inside of you. You know, you'll absolutely take these things in and make them your reality. Absolutely. Whoever you hang around the most, it's said something like the 5 people who you hang around the most eventually become the people who you behave just like. Have you chosen carefully who you will allow those 5 people to be? Because if you don't choose that carefully, then you're letting your environment be the very thing that distorts your perception of who you are, right? When you take your power back, it has nothing to do with dominating someone else. It has everything to do with being able to consciously, cognitively decide after considering all the factors, all the potentialities, possibilities, allowing your intuition and its spouse, logic, intuition and logic coming together and producing this very powerful moment of you actually deciding what to do next. So my life lately has been nothing but a continued series of events that help me to better remember, realize, and then also actualize this awareness of my giving away my proper place and proper role, and that being the thing that causes delays, disappointments, frustration, confusion, all of that, right? So, what should I do? Do I need to, um, yell and scream and, no, no, I don't need to do any of that. I need to express my expectation and do my part to make that expectation a reality. As long as that expectation is in alignment with what is needed and what is healthy, then there's no reason it can't be expected to be brought to fruition, right? So, when your expectation has more to do with feeding the ego and allowing that ego to dictate what you want to prove to others that you are just as valuable, you're going to experience massive lack of fulfillment. Your cup is going to continuously be emptied because if you keep pouring poison into your cup, your soul, your divinity is going to continue to turn that cup upside down. If you want to be, the kind of person that's going to be like, it's not fair. Okay, well, you're the one deciding it. I mean, you're mad because your soul is protecting you from drinking the very poison being squeezed into your cup from the fruit of jealousy. Ooh, I'm saying, then drink up. I'm saying, I would understand the frustration if you lack the awareness, right? But you're being told right now why a lot of the things that you've been trying to build for yourself is probably going upside down for you. You're being told right now. So what does that mean? Emmy, how do we fix this? How do I get my life back on track? Stop trying so hard. You keep trying so hard and it's causing an overcorrection. Have you ever driven in snow? Right? Because I'm a transplant. I went from a snowless place to a space of snow. And it's this thing of learning how to drive in the snow and learning that when you're on road that you don't know if it's icy, you have to drive more aware. So let's make an analogy. When you live in an area of snow where it snows, right? They're going to plow the roads. The main roads are typically plowed by the city. So you're thinking there's no snow on the road, so it's safe. First off, California bald tires is not going to fly. You need tread. You need tread, okay? You can't run till the tires are slicks. That's not going to work. You'll have zero traction. So, secondly, what you have to know is the heat of the sun will eventually melt some of that snow, causing the most minuscule puddles to form in pockets of pavement that have it. It doesn't have to be a massive dip. Okay? It doesn't have to be a massive dip. It just has to be enough for the water to sit. Now, as the weather starts to cool, maybe the clouds come out, maybe it's getting dark, the temperature will dip. As it dips lower, that little puddle of melted snow becomes ice. It freezes again. You're going to have to drive slower. Not that much slower, but slower. And you're going to have to make sure that if you go over black ice and you start to skid, that you're not going to yank the steering wheel, you're not going to speed up, and you're not going to slam on the brakes. And you see that there? You see that there? What's this an analogy of? Sometimes when you live in an emotional winter space, it's a very cold space that many of us live in. Sometimes when you stand in the light of your truth, it melts the ice just enough to form little puddles that cause you to skid. And when you skid, if you overcorrect, if you yank that steering wheel, I promise you, you'll lose control. If you slam on your brakes, you'll lock the wheels and you'll lose control. If you press the accelerator as you're turning, you'll lose control. So what do? Gently correct. Take your foot off the gas and the brake. Allow yourself to coast until you are back in control. How do you apply that to your life? See, we think we've failed until we overcorrect, which takes us skidding into a different direction. And then we overcorrect again, which causes us to skid in the other direction. Oh, we're going to slam on our brakes because if we stop, the car will be in control. No, you won't. You're going to spin yourself out of control. You're going to spin yourself out of control. What I learned, girl knows how to drift. I'm saying I know how to drift. Okay. um Depending on what car you have, some of them have this like sport camber. The wheels will kind of camber. You'll sit a little lower and hug the ground. Most cars don't have that though. So what you need to do is this: quit panicking about the little things. Quit panicking about the little things. See, everything seems so big when you're zoomed in. If you zoom out a little bit, the big things, you'll notice they're small things. You'll notice they're very, very small things, and we need to all just kind of relax and breathe. Just relax and breathe. Relax and breathe. Relax and breathe. Okay? Relax and breathe. This advice will work for most things in your life. When you relax and you breathe, don't allow yourself to react, respond, or any of that, at least until you get a hold of yourself, until your vehicle stops swerving all over the freaking freeway, right? Then you can make better decisions for yourself. Then you can really, really let yourself be fully in control. See, people think that if they are the first one to respond, if they have a quick response, that they've somehow taken control of the situation. I remember I was having a conversation with a former friend, and it was this thing of like, we were having this conversation about verbal conflicts and whatnot. And he had mentioned, like, I'm very witty, so I'm quick on the draw and I always have a response. And that's why people can't take control of the conversation when they're trying to be like malignant towards me. And it's this thing of, oh, that. I'm not even really responding. I'm kind of just like, I've totally just blew them off. And I'm just like, okay, we'll just play. I don't care. So you can't shake me from my center if I don't care enough about what you say. I'm saying, you can't shake me from center if I don't care about what you're saying. If you're not in my circle of trust, what you say, good or bad, it can only go so far because I only care so much. Thank God for my Capricorn moon. I'm just saying. Okay. When we give people too much power over our perception of ourselves because of something they said. I mean, one time I had someone trying to give me relationship advice, right? And I was like, "Huh, are you happy in your marriage?" And they were so offended that I asked that. Why are you offended? I want to know your history so that I can understand if I can take your advice in deeper. Did it work for you? Well, no, I'm divorced. Oh. So did the divorce happen when you implemented your plan? I'm just saying. Is that is the advice you're giving me the reason you got divorced? Is that what it is? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Hmm? Is that what it is? I've had people try and give me unsolicited advice on how to run a spirit soul-based business. You're godless, man. You want to talk to me about divinity and you're godless. Like what? I'm sorry, what? I'm just saying. Who are you guys listening to? Because I promise you, the person that has the most to say is the last person you should be listening to. I'm so serious about that. I'm so serious about that. See, people see me on live streams and they're like, oh, this girl talks for an hour and a half, 2 hours, one go. Like, oh my God, she's just nonstop. Oh, she would be an amazing person to live beside. We could chat all day. Ask me how many neighbors I've chatted with in the past 5 years. Do, 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 do. Ask me. How many neighbors have I chatted with in the past 5 years? So we're finishing 2022. That would bring us to 2017. You know, one time I got my neighbors One time I got my neighbor's package from Amazon. It was delivered to my door and I brought it in. Because, we always get Amazon stuff. And I brought it in, I put it on the counter and I looked at it. I was about to open it and I was like, who's this? It was some random name I didn't know. And I was like, oh, I don't know where this house is. I was like, oh, I'll ask Faye to like GPS it and deliver it to them. And then after like maybe 30 minutes, someone knocked on the door and I was like, oh, who is that? Oh my God, who is this? And it was some lady. She was knocking on my door with a big smile on her face. And I looked through the peephole. I don't look through windows because, I looked through the peephole and I was very quiet. I tiptoed to the door. And I looked and it was some lady and she was smiling, waiting for the door to open. And I opened the door slowly up to here, like, yes, with my foot. My toes were bent back against the door because if she tried to open the door, then the ball of my foot would stop it. And I could put my shoulder into the door and force it shut. There's a story. It's a long story from years ago, but I learned that's how you open the door. And she's like, hi, I'm your neighbor. And I was like, hi, how can I help you? And she says, oh, you got my package. I was like, oh, is that you? I wasn't sure where the house was. So I was going to wait for my husband to get home and bring it to whoever it is. And she goes, oh, I live next door. I don't know our address. I was like, I'm so sorry. Is that what that house number is? I don't even know our address. She goes, yeah, no, it's my package. And then she showed me her Amazon app and she showed some of the detail on the doorstep. That's how she knew it was our door that it was delivered to. And I was like, well, thank God you came. I would have hated for you to have to wait until he got home since you're just right next door. But I didn't know. I didn't know. I don't talk to neighbors. I don't talk to anyone. If you ask me a direct question in real life, asking me for my perception on something, yes, I will answer you. But if you think I'm going to be offering you advice, thinking you're going to have a daily live stream experience with me? Ah, that's funny. That's funny. You're not going to get that from me. At most, you'll see me awkwardly look in your direction before I look down because that's who I am. It's time to clear away a lot of the things that you've been allowing to get into your head about this right here. This dumping out of the toxicity from your cup. You're going to have to sweep all that away. You're going to have to not sweep it under the rug, because when you do that, as people walk on that rug, a lot of that yuck is going to be coming out of the rug anyways. Eventually, either the dust is going to come through the rug, get embedded in the rug, or come out the side of the rug. You have to make sure you actually clean things out. This includes, excuse me, this includes when you walk away from someone, you cannot just close the door. You cannot just deadbolt the door shut. Depending on the reason for their departure, you have to also burn the bridge they used to cross the moat to access you. I'm just saying. I'm saying. Okay. So, for many of us, we leave too many opportunities for the most toxic of people to return at a later date. You got to stop doing that. Okay. You got to stop doing that. Now, if you do this and you find yourself interacting with them again years later, here's the thing. You're probably a different person. They're probably a different person. You're both probably so far further down the path that now there's a new bridge that provides the two of you the opportunity to reconnect and talk and really just share the ways in which you guys have grown, expanded your awareness, right? That's beautiful. Angela. So this, you guys, remember I was telling you that a lot of the things that we learn have been distorted. So I'm not going to say that Angela is wrong. She says fire is the best purification. I won't say that that's wrong because that can actually be true. But here's the thing. Remember, I don't know if y'all remember, most of you probably didn't exist yet. Back in the 80s, they were doing this thing where they said that rock and roll was evil, heavy metal is evil. Right? And so they were having these like events, these gatherings where they would take the records that they said were infused with the devil's essence and and they're going to go ahead and burn it, right? So they burn all these records. So here's the thing. When you do something like that, because something demonic is attached to it, like you're thinking that it's some type of portal, it's a way to access you. When you burn it, you fully dilate the portal and it remains stuck open. Be careful. You're not going to be able to close that. Be careful. Okay. So you have to know what you're doing before you do it. Don't just do it. Fire can be a really good purifier, but it depends the type of fire, what you're burning, your intention, how able are you to harness with intention and accuracy, right? Your abilities, your energies. For me personally, I would constrict that entry point past the pinpoint constriction, kind of like a frog's bottom. Make it watertight, baby. Constrict it to that degree because I know how to work my energy. And then I'll set that on fire. Because guess what? Now it's sealed shut. It's sealed shut. So your attention, your focus, if it's fixated on amplification of specific properties, whatever it is you're dealing with, then you're absolutely dilating it. You're calling more of that because you're interacting with that energy, right? Right. So then what happens? Well, your fear displaces your power. And as your power is displaced, it creates void within you, which calls in more of that energy, which more is coming in. So now it's going to dilate it further. So just be careful with that. Be careful with that. I teach a lot of these types of things in my academy, k33academy.com. I teach a lot of these things there. But I better stop before I'm sure this video is already going to be they're not going to spread this video. I shared too much information. So, yeah. It's a foundation. Where are you within yourself? Right? Where are you within yourself? The foundation of you and who you are is determined by how you see yourself. How you see yourself, oftentimes you are not, if you are not actively participating in creating your perception of you, cultivating who you are, there's a very high likelihood that who you are is based on who other people tell you you are. You don't want to rebuild your sense of self, your internal kingdom, which then becomes externalized based on other people's perceptions of you. Okay. There are some things that, try as you might, you're not going to cleanse that from yourself. Those things are the things that you don't recognize are foreign to you. The taking ownership of other people's toxicity, distortions, um, very toxic situations that they're in. When you take ownership of that, you're not doing anyone a favor by doing that. Okay. I like to make this analogy of, and all who are empaths, if you're wondering if you're an empath, if you already identify as an empath, I really hope you hear what I'm about to say. Those who are empathic, we have this belief that if we just take someone's pain, we can save them from it because we recognize how much we can handle. We've been through so much, and that's how we've become an empath. That's what developed our empathy to begin with. We've been through so much trauma, so we know how much we can handle. And we end up volunteering ourselves to be other people's whipping girl, whipping boy, scapegoat, whatever it is you want to call it. We volunteer to take their pain, their illness, because we can handle it. We know how strong we are because of how much trauma we've already survived. Well, here's the thing. This is the analogy. If once upon a time you broke your back and had to learn to rewalk and had to rehab all of your muscles, and you successfully did so, despite the doctors telling you you'd never walk again. And so you know how to do this, right? You know how to rebuild yourself, how to walk again. You had to teach all of yourself this through the pain. You are such a treasure. Now, there's someone else who is struggling with muscle imbalance, pain and whatever it is. Now, it's not a broken back. They just need to build their, say, their pelvic girdle. They have to strengthen their back, whatever it is. You take them to the gym. Now, you're a treasure because you know what to do, how to do it properly so you get the results that you're looking for without unnecessary injury. Are you going to help them by lifting the weights for them? Are you? Because that's what you're trying to do with your empathy. When you're trying to take ownership over someone else's struggle and pain, that's what you're doing. You're lifting the weights for them. The very, very few people who have worked out with me, they know I'm not going to lift the weights for you. I will, if you want, give you pointers on how to adjust your grip, how to adjust, your back, maybe your hips, whatever alignment needs to be adjusted in order to properly lift that load without injuring yourself. I will do that if you want me to, if you ask me to. Yes. Yes, I would. But will I lift it for you? No, because that's not going to do anything for you. As a matter of fact, I will encourage you to lift a lighter weight until you have gotten the mechanics down properly. So that way, when you go to lift that heavier weight, you won't injure yourself. I'll encourage you to check your ego at the door and do it properly so that you can watch your growth with minimal injury. Perception. It's a huge part of what you experience. Yesterday, so I've been injured, right? I've been injured and I didn't work out for a few days. I missed a couple days worth of workouts to give my body time to recoup. And no, I didn't get injured at the gym. I got injured because I'm old. Yeah. I wasn't lifting weights. I was at home doing nothing. Literally. all seriousness, I have Ehlers-Danlos, so my joints are very stretchy. I don't produce certain proteins that make for non-stretchy ligaments. So yeah, something popped out of place. I injured myself, and I hadn't worked out for a couple of days to give it time to recuperate, get rid of some of that inflammation. And we went to the gym yesterday, and it was supposed to be open, but apparently the doors were locked. And so I told my husband, let's go to a different gym. At which point we looked for a different gym that was the closest, and we went there. It sucked so bad. It wasn't a bad gym. Something was going on with the pulse, and it really, it fucked my perception because I'm a very results oriented individual, right? And I got so accustomed to lifting certain amount of weight and how many reps, and and that really aligns my mindset and everything. And it went from me for this one exercise, I will lift very easily like 100 pounds per rep, right? There are rows, and I could do 100 pounds per pull, and it's good. Like, I'm focused and all of that. Wow, I could only lift 30. And it felt like the fucking cable was fighting me. And that really messed up my perception. And every single time, because I use a workout app, every single time I would log in, it would go from like 100 pounds, 15 reps, and I do 3 sets, right? And then it's like 30 pounds, 7 reps, 25 pounds, 5 reps. And I was like, and that fucked me up in the head so bad. I was like, how do you want to fucking work out? I don't even want to work out. This is bullshit. And now my shoulders feel fucked. And it's just like, you know, perception. And I knew exactly what was going on. My ego kicked in because it was this thing of like, I can lift more than this. you know, my perception made it a horrible experience. If I was in a balanced internal state, it would not have mattered what the weight said. What would have mattered was how the movement felt, the engagement of my muscles, me being able to work my muscle to the point of failure, and being able to release all that lactic acid. That's all that would have mattered, you know? But no, 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 no. I was all up in my head because I was already crunching numbers. What time in the morning? It was early, yo. I was already crunching numbers. And because that's how I think of my progress. I'm starting to sweat profusely. That's how I calculate my progress. That's how I quantify, how productive the day will be. So that really, really screwed me up for the rest of the day. For the rest of the day, because I got all up in my head. And you know what ended up happening? Because of that perception of I'm not lifting enough, I knew there was something going on with the cables. Okay. I knew there was something going on. It was catching. All the machines were like that. I didn't like it at all. And and what I ended up doing, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna max out on dumbbells then, because this is bullshit. And so I did. I maxed myself out on dumbbells. And when I was done working out, I still lifted just shy of 40,000 pounds, but that wasn't enough for me. That wasn't enough for me because at that point, I'm like, well, if I lifted nearly 40,000, and if just gone to our old gym, the other gym, that would have been like 70 to 80,000 pounds. What the fuck does it matter? What does it matter? It doesn't. But I needed to let myself have the rest of the day to really just fixate on that and be like, I blah, 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 blah. I needed to give myself that time to really just do all of that, because really, if you can't give yourself the time and the space to process what you're feeling, you're going to stuff it down. Where's that supposed to go? How do you cleanse it? You won't cleanse it. You won't. So long as you allow yourself to remain upside down in that, by denying what that is, you're not going to be able to let it go. And the main thing that you have to do is be honest with yourself with where you're at. I was honest with myself. I knew exactly what this was rooted in. It was rooted in an ego-based desire to have certain numbers sing to me when I'm done. They needed to sing to me and they didn't sing. And so that irked me. That really, really, really irritated me, because it was this thing of something outside of me was preventing me from having the results that I had my heart set on. I wanted to lift my personal best yesterday, which I could have if the machines weren't shit. I could have. I'm telling you, I totally could have. I totally could have. Anyways, but see, here's the thing. Maybe yesterday my personal best was not about the amount of weight lifted, but instead my personal best was about being able to continue lifting despite my already disturbed mindset. I was very disturbed by those machines. I was very, very, very disturbed by those machines. I was even more disturbed by the people that go to that gym. I had several people trying to do some weightlifting competition with me beside me. I was just like, sir, just because we're the same height, sir, does not mean I want to be in a weightlifting competition with you. And I can outlift you anyways. I'm joking. I didn't say that. I thought it. I did. I thought it for one particular person. Too much. Too much. You have to enter into this space of high priestess of water. High priestess of water. Why? Because you need to flow. You need to let yourself flow through whatever process you're in. You need to stop denying what process you're in. You have to allow yourself, like really, really allow yourself to see the ways, vision, right? To see the ways in which you are denying your own strength. I didn't need to do all that in order for me to understand that, I am a lot stronger than I have been in quite a few years. Okay. I'm a lot stronger than I have been in quite a few years. And I need to be happy with that and stop pushing to the degree that I'm creating issues for myself. Okay, so I'm going to admit something. Okay, don't tell my family. The way I injured myself. So I decided to flex. And I lifted like I deadlifted. I deadlifted one of my kids. I deadlifted my teen. So I deadlifted him. He weighs just shy of 170 pounds. And I deadlifted him and I held him and I cinched it. And it was good. It felt good. I'm sure I could deadlift my oldest, right? He's like 200 something pounds, all Mr. Muscular. I'm pretty sure I could deadlift him too. But here's the thing. I went to do it a second time because I held him and I counted to like 10. And then I was like, you impressed to my holding my teenager, right? And he goes, "Whoa, mom." And then I put him down. I was like, "Yeah!" And then I was like, "You want to do it? I'll do it again. I'll do it again." I was trying to flex. And then so my teen comes up again. I was like, "Weigh yourself." And I think he was like 167 pounds or something like that. And I was like, "Yeah." And then I went to go deadlift him again, right? So it's kind of I was like in a sumo squat. I was kind of like in a sumo squat position, and I had hugged him from just beneath his bootay, right? So I gripped him by his thighs, and I was preparing to stand up and lift him with proper mechanics. And then he's like, "No, mom, you're gonna hurt yourself." And there was that movement. And then I felt my spine compress. And after that, I was like, well, fuck, I'm already injured. So I was like, "No, lean towards me." And then I lifted him again and I held him for like another 15, 20 seconds. I'm like, "Are you impressed yet?" From behind his legs. And, um, that's how I injured myself. And my kids are like, "You're gonna hurt yourself." "No, I'm fine." That's when it started. That's when it started. I'm just saying. I I still swear I could deadlift my oldest. I think he said he's like at 230 or 220, something like that. I'm pretty sure I could deadlift. Like realistically, if I had straps to help with my grip, once I heal my torn iliosacral joint, I'm pretty sure I could deadlift, I want to say about 275 pounds. I'm pretty sure I could do it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could do it. If I wasn't worried about my sacrum, I'm pretty sure I could work up to just shy of 500 pounds deadlift. I'm sure I could do it. That would take me like maybe 2, 3 months to prep for. It gets me excited. I don't know why that just got me so excited. Like, I want to get a personal trainer. If we stay in one area long enough, I want to get a personal trainer to really help me rehab that joint so that I can really experience the type of gains that I need to deadlift that amount. I'm pretty sure I could, though. Pretty sure. All right. So there's something that you're not wanting to call forward to yourself, and you're trying to convince yourself that it's complicated when it's not. It's not complicated. You're just afraid of actually recognizing how strong you are and what you're capable of, right? Is that like a small car? Girl, no. Small cars. The I use it's an app called JetFit, I think is the name of it. And part of the reason why I love that app is because it tells you what you've lifted, and it gives you and this is like my reward after I work out. So they're still stuck on turkeys. So yesterday I lifted the equivalent of 149.2 dozen turkeys. That's a lot of turkeys. That's a lot of turkeys. See, look, I'll show you. So they show you this little picture. And yeah, see how many exercises I did? 34, right? I totally punished myself because I was so fucking pissed off at those cables. I was so pissed off. I was like, "Bitch, you're fucking up my workout." Yeah, so I went over to the dumbbell and went ahead. I punished myself there. Beauty and confidence. Confidence is what makes you beautiful. It's not about your aesthetics. It's about your confidence. And I'm not talking about that bluff, like when you bluff that you're confident. That does not look pretty. That looks like a try hard. I'm talking about when you have nothing to prove to other people and you're just living the best life you possibly can live in that moment through that period of your life and your growth. Choices. You have choices to make, This choice to rebuild, it's a choice. When you make a choice and you put effort behind it, you put the time, the effort, the energy, the focus, all of that. That's how you make things happen for yourself. I think for many of us, we've been given this false sense of if you, have the right spiritual practice and you meditate enough and you have the right diet and you have, the right mantra and the right mudras and like all of that, right? That you would somehow be given something. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. See, there's been a lot of things that have been happening behind the scenes because it's this thing of, I'm not hoping that these things happen. I'm saying these things will happen. I'm waiting for them to happen. I'm putting the effort into making it happen, and it's going to happen. Why? Because I won't stop until it does. These are events and expectations that are in alignment with what I'm trying to bring to fruition, which is also in alignment with who I am and the purpose I'm living. So they're going to happen. Why? Because I said so. And it's my life. And because it's my life and I said so, that's what I'm going to manifest. I'm not hoping. I'm confident that it can happen and that it will happen because I will make it happen. Not force it, but put enough effort and enough focus on what I am wanting to manifest that it will manifest because of the passion I have inside me to make it happen. It's a very beautiful thing when you can go ahead and do all of that, right? Ooh, this right here. Michael pointed it out. I have to learn that I am beautifully scarred. I used to think that I was a very scarred person. Used to. Until one day Michael explained to me, those are not scars. My spiritual skin is adorned with the lessons I've learned and succeeded learning from. That is evidence of the things that tried to destroy me, but instead were conquered by me. It's a very beautiful mindset, at least for me. That's how I choose to see it now. All these wounds that became the scars, they're evidence of the things that tried to destroy me, but were instead conquered by me. Not by chance, but by pure intention and divine design. I designed this life that I live before I ever lived it. Nothing outside of me designed this life. I made the decisions before I was born to live the life that I've lived, and every event triggers an opportunity for me to retrieve the skills, the knowledge, the awareness that's necessary to reach the next part, the next level, the next version of me. And here's the thing, people think they're leveling up. People think that they're reaching an even better version of themselves, a new version, reborn, and blah, blah, blah. And for me, I don't see it like that at all. My process of rebuilding actually a process of digging deeper. It's like my palace was buried in mud and that mud dried up and that palace was forgotten about. And now I've come back many lifetimes later, digging as an archaeologist, digging through the dirt to uncover the beauty that was perfectly preserved. Nothing ever really gets truly destroyed. It's our perception of it that causes it to change. It's the way we allow ourselves to receive other people's opinions and the way in which we allow those opinions we've allowed ourselves to receive to be the very thing that distorts the way we see ourselves. Mm. Michael said something profound just now. He says, maybe the time is ripe to allow yourself to be blind. So you stop relying on the gift of sight and begin to really allow yourself to feel. Ooh. When was the last time you let yourself feel your way through a situation where you can't explain it and there's nothing that's showing you the why, but you're like, this doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. Hey, when was the last time you listened to that? That feeling that's trying to tell you. So people, when you meet someone and you get butterflies, where are those butterflies? Let's try a little simulation. This is what I do in my classes sometimes. I'm going to simulate an energy that will cause butterflies. Okay, I'm not going to be entering your field. I'm just going to create a simulation. So your body's going to respond. It's going to create a sense of butterflies. You tell me where you feel those butterflies, okay? Where do you feel the butterflies, the vibrations? Mm-hmm. Stomach, solar plexus, throat. Woo! Shoulder back, chest, stomach, below abdomen, under the ribs. This is very fascinating. Chest. Solar and heart. So I want to say something. I was not expecting this. The people who felt it in the chest on up, between the shoulder blades, the throat, those people, your higher self is wanting you to experience this because this is helping you to better understand. Okay. Better understand your sensitivity and the way your intuition and your body can guide you through things. It wants you to experience this. For those who are experiencing it from the solar plexus on down, and the lower it is, the more potent the message is. So I was simulating a malignant energy. Mm-hmm. I was simulating something that you would want to avoid, that type of energy. And so it's this thing of the lower the butterflies are, the lower it is, the more likely your higher self is telling you, you need to avoid this. This is not going to be good. So the higher it is, from just above the solar plexus on up, this is your higher self letting you know, like, this is something you need to experience. Just kind of hang in there. hang in there. It might be a good thing, it might be a difficult thing, but it's definitely something that you need to experience in order to better understand the lesson you're learning right now. So I'm going to simulate another energy, and I want you guys to tell me where you feel it. Oh, this is interesting. Teresa's whole shield was like, no, honey. Her whole shield, no, no, honey. We're not playing with you. I don't blame your higher self. Your higher self is probably like, this girlfriend is tripping today. Throat. Trembling. You okay, Tanya? You're very sensitive to energy. Third eye, crown area, stomach, chest. Angela, the stomach, the extraction's happening today. hmm They're like, no, no. Okay. Behind the eyes, face, back, chest, solar plexus and ribs, throat and chest, throat and forehead. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is very, very beautiful. So, this is me simulating a good energy, right? A very loving type energy. So, the higher the butterflies are, the more it's something about you just needing to be allowed to experience, to feel. This is pretty cool. A lot of you guys are very sensitive to energy. It's nice. Love it. Let's see. I got to finish up. Okay. Golden crown and transformation. You're not going to be able to rebuild this properly, whatever you're needing to rebuild within yourself. You're not going to be able to rebuild it properly unless you allow the messages from soul to come in and transform your perception and your processing of your life, right? The way you process your life is very, very important. Because if you're not able to see things, perceive things in the truth of what they are, then you're going to really experience a lot of difficulty. Okay. A lot of difficulty. A lot of the things that we suffer and struggle through has to do with our refusal to understand the situation for what it is. So be still, but it's in reverse. This has two messages. Some of us are needing to just have a seat. Some of us just need to have a seat. I'm saying, okay? You just need to have a seat, sit down. You're doing too much. Okay? You just sit down. You're doing far too much. And for others, this is telling me that you've been sitting for far too long and you need to do more. You need to be an active part of your journey. You need to be consciously, very, very cognitively choosing what you are manifesting for yourself. Your emotions are going to be your celestial teacher. Your emotions are going to teach you exactly what you're needing to learn. Okay. I hear allow a lot, but how? Maybe it's just me. It's hard to grasp the concept of allowing and to actually allow when you have not been in a space of feeling powerful and in control of your life. I speak from experience on this. I needed to micromanage and control everything for a long period years ago because I felt very unseen, unheard, unsupported, unloved, and all of that. All of that. And so I felt very disempowered within my life. And because of that, I projected into my environment and needed to control everything, right? I needed to have everything super organized and all of that. It's not to say that everyone who keeps a very tidy home has control issues. Michael says, "Are you sure?" Hush. Hush. He just needs to stay in his lane and mind his business. Okay? Okay. I don't critique other people's homes. I don't critique other people's homes. Okay? I just like to live in a clean space is what it is. There's a difference between me trying to control everything and me just having an expectation of a clean home. Okay? That's not, those two are okay. Ew. This comment right here. Who sent you? Who sent you, Angela? Is it Michael? I am his business. um I'm not going to say that. I was going to say something to Michael. Sacred journey. Your journey is sacred. Allow yourself to travel through that. It's not a journey if you're choosing to just stand still, right? It is not a journey if you're just choosing to stand still. That's stagnation. As you move through your journey, hold on to your integrity. Hold on to that integrity. Rebuilding with a lack of integrity, you won't be able to maintain that long term. That's like building a foundation that doesn't carry integrity. You know what that means? The foundation will crumble. Your building will collapse. If there is no structural integrity, no. That's why they condemn buildings. Question. If they condemn buildings for lack of integrity, why don't we condemn people? I'm saying, I'm not talking about necessarily civilians. I'm talking about governmental officials. If they consistently behave and showcase a lack of integrity, why can't they be condemned? I'm just saying. It's a question. I'm saying. Bring back the guillotine. Just kidding. Michael says that looks like a sippy cup. Stop. That's why you're making me laugh, because you put that card in there. That's why you're making me laugh. He's good. He's good. He's trying to make me laugh before I. Anyways, strength in reverse, you know, strength in reverse. So, whatever has been set against you, it's been upside down. It lacks integrity. So, that's not going to be able to continue to be maintained, but you have to be willing to do the work that's necessary in order to make things happen for yourself. Everything is being situated behind the scenes to crumble the moment you allow yourself to really push through. But you have to push through. There are so many things that can happen for you in this period. A reunification of your parts, right? Duality in reverse. You're no longer going to be dualistic in nature. What this means is you're going to embrace your masculine and feminine energy equally. That's one of your primary goals right now, is to allow yourself the time and the space to begin processing the wounds from each and really, really just addressing those wounds, okay? Cleansing them, applying the proper spiritual ointments and salves. Hey guys, serious question. Serious question, okay? So I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm like low key herbalist slash shamanic herbal person. Um, so I came up with this. It's like a salve. I have it in a salve form as well as a tincture, and it's applied topically. And I've made this before multiple times. And so, what you do when you have a parasitic issue, listen carefully, okay? I'm blending spirit and science together. I'm blending them. So, here's the thing. Typically, what happens when you have a pronounced parasitic circumstance, they have anchor points. Most, not all, most parasites have an anchor point on your etheric body, right? On your energetic body, your luminous bodies. And that anchor point, in order to facilitate feeding, they have to get the energy to pool there so they can suction it up with their proboscis. It's kind of like a butterfly's tongue, it's like a straw. And so they need the energy to pool. And what ends up happening is, in order to do that, they will send bioelectrical impulses, pulses through the muscle. And it causes the muscle to go ahead and do this fast twitch. And they put sedation in that area. So you don't feel it. You just get sore. That's why whenever I do extractions on people, if they have a really pronounced parasitic issue, the areas where I extract from, because I will list everything I extract from. They'll be like, oh my gosh, those are all the areas where I've been hurting. Yeah, because when you have all that fast twitch movement, even though it's sedated, you're not feeling the twitch. What ends up happening is the muscle will begin to build up lactic acid in that area. It's like you're working it out without working it out. It's like placing an electrode on you. And so what ends up happening is there's muscle soreness and all of that. What if I told you that I created a salve as well as a tincture where you place it on there, and the intention is to address the parasitic anchor points, but what it also ends up doing, an unintentional side effect, is it gets rid of muscle pain. And let me tell you, let me tell you, that's not what I'm marketing it for, but I could put it on my website. I use it for parasitic things. Let me tell you something else. Let me tell you something else. I know the efficacy of this because guess what? My brother is a sports medicine coach. His clients are top tier athletes. Top tier athletes. I don't want to name names. I don't want to be a name dropper, but I'm just saying there's someone who was like, it was a very, very prominent name in the sports field. And he was working on, he's like, what is this? This is good shit. And my brother's like, my sister makes it. Yeah. He's like, it's just some shit my sister makes. Yeah. And my son was also telling me, because he was working on this athlete. He's like, yeah, so and so really likes it. He's like, what's in it? And he's like, I don't know. It's just stuff my mom sent. Hmm. Yeah. So I'm just saying that might be a very powerful way to address the lower level parasitic latchings, because it causes them to release. Hmm. It causes them to release because I charge the fluid with a specific type of coating. They don't like my energy. They don't. They don't like me. I don't care. I don't care if they don't like me. But yeah, just to give you guys some idea of that, it's definitely been very much loved by some of the top names in MMA. Some of the top names in MMA. I'm just saying. And that wasn't, I made it for my brother. That's who I made it for. I didn't make it for athletes. I made it for my brother. And because he understands biomechanics, he understands anatomy, physiology, and, all of that. He was a huge fan of it. And so he began using it on his clients. I'm just saying. It addresses inflammation. It addresses lactic acid buildup. It's all natural analgesic. I'm just saying. Janae, I think your brother would love it. I think, and it's, if they're vegan, if they're all about all natural, it'll work. It'll work. It would. Top tier athletes love it. But we'll see. We'll see if I can roll that out soon. I make it all from scratch. I infuse everything from scratch using the raw plant materials. It takes some time for me to make it. So, yeah, just saying. Reborn from shadow in reverse. You're not going to be reborn. What's going to happen is you're going to enter into a state of totality. And this state of totality is going to make you feel like a completely different version of yourself, So we have the twin ray healing, but it's in reverse. I'm trying to understand the presence of this card in this reading. It's time to rebuild it all. Oh, I never noticed that before. Okay. I'm seeing new aspects, new details here that I hadn't seen before. Very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So one, that's crazy. You guys have seen my huge Andaran crystal? You guys saw that? When I first picked it up, it cut my hand. It cut my hand, and that cut created 2 A's. Right here. A and then A, right? It created 2 A's. Look. An A and then an A, an A and an A. Don't mind my cuticles. Who the hell said that? Someone's like, "Oh, your cuticles." Don't mind my cuticles. I do need to. Why are you staring at my cuticles? That got me fucked up. I'm just saying. Push back my fucking cuticles. God. Give me issues with my fingers. No, I will not cut my cuticles. I just need a brush. That's fucked up. I'm gonna wear a sock on my head. Just saying. So, it seems like one. What? I don't give a shit. Okay, I wear 2 different socks. So this guy right here is still hiding. That one right there is still hiding. And this one is like kind of pushing the veil down. Um, it's almost this sense of one has really entered into a space of personal power. And so this one is leading the way for healing to occur. So y'all, cuticles is one of my triggers. Is one of my triggers, okay? It's one of my triggers. I'm not even joking. I used to get yelled at a lot by my narcissistic father over my nails having any type of growth. I would like get him in trouble. He would tell me that I would need to cut it really short. That's why my nails are always short. And then he would criticize me for my cuticles because I would get hangnails. Stop. Don't look at my hands. Redirection sigil. Redirection sigil. So you don't need to be redirected. You're on the right path, but you're needing to focus on the path that you're on. If you don't focus on the path that you're on, then that's going to create much more issues with you trying to rebuild all this stuff that you're trying to rebuild. If you feel like everything has been wrecked, don't worry. You need to allow this process to happen, because if you don't, what will end up happening is everything is going to be deconstructed anyways. That's not something, everything's going to be constructed. And if you allow the reconstruction to occur, it could be so much more efficient, so much more efficient. And if you allow the efficiency, then you will allow for all of these amazing things to occur, minimal effort. It's when you fight whatever it is you're needing to do that you begin to really, really struggle. Okay. So, and our inactivation. You're about to reach a higher level of frequency, and that's going to activate a lot of the very dormant things, well, seemingly dormant things that it's it's about self-acceptance, to be honest. It's about you allowing yourself to accept exactly who you are, where within your journey, what you need to do, all of these different things. Letting too many people get in your head about what you need to rebuild. These people who are telling you what you need to rebuild have no idea the greatness you contain inside you, this greatness that you conceal, right? Um, we gotta, we gotta get through this. You have to allow yourself to get through whatever this is. You're not going to be able to call on your ancestors to bail you out of this one. Okay. This is not something where you are necessarily in danger. It's more of what's at risk is your growth. And so it's going to be very, very important for you to really just take ownership of this. I think what's happened in a lot of the spiritual, I better take the socks off my hands before I get too comfy and wear socks on my hands all day. I'll put them on my feet. I'm getting too comfortable with the socks on my hands. Okay, we don't want that to be a coping mechanism that sticks. Anyways, you need to allow yourself to take full ownership of whatever this is, because if you allow yourself to take full ownership, then you'll be able to reap the full benefits of what you are doing. Often what happens when you rely on other things to kind of like tide you over, to help you accomplish things, you give credit to that thing instead to yourself. right? So say you're trying to build a business and you did you paid someone you you paid someone to do some type of abundance spell, right? So they did the abundance spell, you did all the work because now you feel like you're being supported, and it turns out you're now pulling in a whole bunch of abundance. So in your head, you're thinking it was the abundance spell. No, it was not the abundance spell. It was you. It was you. So I'm all for ancestors and working with and getting to know, developing a bond with healthy ancestors. Not all your ancestors are healthy. Okay. Not all your ancestors are healthy. Some of your ancestors are the type of ancestors that um, are very well versed in the darker things. And those are ancestors that are good to allow to assist you when you are needing to defend yourself. When you're needing to build something, those are not the ancestors you should be going to. So unless you know the difference between ancestors, you really shouldn't be messing with them at all. Because let me tell you, let me tell you, one time someone was doing some massive malignant, very, very dark magic on me. Um, and all that did was like awaken some of my ancestors I never really spoke about until that period. Um, because I didn't want to deal with all of that dark magic stuff that was coming towards me. And there are certain things that are not allowed to be done to me, right? And so what ended up happening was it triggered the awakening and the reconnection with my Haitian ancestry. I was Haitian in a previous life. If y'all dabble in some magical stuff, don't fuck with Haitians. I'm saying. I'm saying. So that's part of my soul's history. I don't talk about that a lot. That's part of my soul's history. All that did was awaken that. You best believe that person stopped that day. You best believe. That's not something I need to flaunt. That's something that's a reality for me. Those are the parts of my ancestry that will come forward. You try and do that kind of stuff. If you do it enough, I'll lose my desire to shield you from what they do. I wouldn't ask them to do anything, but you're giving them a reason to get involved. Okay. So it's this thing of just knowing beyond the shadow of a doubt that everything that is happening to you is also happening for you and with you. But if you're not on board with learning what needs to be learned during that period, it's going to just seem like it's a total cluster fluff and that you're just being punished and this is horrible and blah, 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 blah. And really, it's not. It's not that at all. It is not that at all. It's not that at all. So you got to make sure. You have to really, really make sure you begin doing the work that you need to do. Your ancestors will be allowed to step in on your behalf when it's necessary, when it is sanctioned by your soul. When you are trying to use your ancestors as tools, that usually does not end well. It might take some time, but that usually does not end well. You will be indebted to those ancestors. Just, I don't know if people know this, you know, just like we got that one uncle or auntie or parent or sibling or cousin or whatever it is, where like if you ask for one favor, now you owe them five. Just saying. Okay. So that's something you need to keep in mind. And also, you need to make sure that, oh, my fingers are turning purple. Let me stop. It felt so good, too. It feels good. Bondage feels good. Okay, let me stop. Allow yourself to be rejuvenated. Allow that rejuvenation to come from within. Don't seek outside spaces of rejuvenation because they're not calibrated for you. Your rejuvenation needs to come from within you. So when I do energy work, I'm not using my energy. That's the very reason I can do hours upon hours of expedites, one after the other after the other. It's not uncommon for me to work on maybe 20, 30 people in one live stream. Why can I do that? Because it's not my energy. I'm not using my energy. I'm able to control your energy to use that to address whatever's going on in your field. That's how I'm able to effectively and efficiently help you. You're able to use your energy too. It's just you don't know how to harness your energy in the way that you can, right? You're trying to learn from people how to harness energy, and they're not even harnessing the energy that should be harnessed. There is this unlimited energy that we are all connected to. Mhm. There is an unlimited energy that we are connected to, and that unlimited energetic source is for all of us. We don't have to commingle our energy with anyone. We can use that energy for self healing, for energetic work, for creative endeavors, to push business through, to welcome your abundance, to protect ourselves, to assist other people. We can use that energy however we feel, right? We can. You can't use it to harm someone, because that's not what that energy is for. If you do that, that's how you end up blowing out chakras and all kind of different things, and you create voids within yourself, and that's what parasitic things live in, the void that exists within you, pockets of emptiness. Card number 41, receiving sigil. Allowing yourself to receive the very information, guidance, support that you are needing to receive during this period. I feel like there's going to be sorry. I feel like there's going to be some type of situation where for many of you, you're going to go ahead and you're going to go ahead and really be given a massive opportunity. For some, that massive opportunity will welcome in a shit ton of money, like a shit ton of money. Now, money is currency, currency is energy. For some, it might just be energy coming in, which I think for some of us, that's what we need. um but I think for some it's actual money. I'm not sure though. But it's not going to come in until you build up enough, you rebuild enough of your space to be able to house that, because your higher self is not going to give you a massive load like that with it not having a proper place to go within you. So maybe that's why you need to rebuild things. Hmm. Hmm. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Hold on. I need to see something really quick. Oh, okay. Good morning, Marlene. I mean, it is a little bit thrashed. It's not bad, but it's a little bit thrashed. She goes, she just walked up. She says, "There's nothing wrong with your cuticles." Nah, it's just a little bit thrashed. Because I didn't use the nail brush while I was in the shower. It's usually very well maintained if I use a nail brush in the shower for a few minutes. It usually takes care of all of that, but I haven't. All right, let's see. Wishful expectations. Acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. So this was in reverse, right? You're not acknowledging the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are, smoke and mirrors. And that's what's preventing you from wish fulfillment. Card number 7, distorted perceptions. Reality is rarely what we are raised to believe it is. I mean, isn't that what I've been saying through this whole live stream, right? The reality of what you can accomplish on your own terms, in your own time, using your own energy and your own intuitive guidance is profound. So profound, it can blow your mind. So profound, it will blow your mind. Card number 5, the unknown. Knowing the unknown has to do with your intuition, has to do with reconnecting with your highest self and allowing those messages to come in and be received. Card number 7, renewal, regeneration begins with decay. So, this is what's happening right now. There's a decay that's occurring, and the decay that's occurring is the very thing that's going to feed the new growth. A lot of people don't understand that in ecosystems, the plant material that decays becomes the nutrients that supplements the soil. It becomes a part of the soil. And it's that very decay that feeds the growth of the other plants, the other trees. Okay. Card number 40, inner integration. There is a peace, equilibrium, and fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming and tempering effect life has on us. But it's in reverse, right? Inner integration. You're not allowing the truth of you and what you need to do, what you're capable of doing, and all of that to come through. Because guess what? You've taken to your core as truth a lot of the distorted BS that people have fed you with. They've force fed this to you your entire life. Person after person after person, like a long line was formed. You are in your high chair as a baby, and each of them has a spoon full of toxicity. And they spoon feed you, spoon feed you, spoon feed you, all of that toxicity. You got to stop letting that happen. You got to allow that baby to purge. Burp the baby, let it spit up whatever it needs to do. Okay. Card number 36, confusion. Growth hurts, heals, and harnesses away through the uncertainty. But it's in reverse. All that is true, but you're not confused. There's a difference between confusion and denial. There is a difference between confusion and denial. You're not confused, you're in denial. All right. Let's hear from Kuan Yin. Okay. Let us hear from Kuan Yin. Let her tell us the things we need to hear, because we need some goodness. You guys, don't worry. Everything's going to be fine. This is the stuff that's going to help you to begin thinking about what you need to think about. It's going to help you get to a space within yourself where you can really know how to move forward in your journey, right? And that's a good thing. For many of us, these are just things that are very difficult to hear because, we've kind of gotten set in our ways and we have these expectations that we want fulfilled. And these expectations are based on how we can validate our existence through the acquisition, through acquiring material things and clout and all of that, Ooh. Michael has some very good social media advice. And this has worked for me during periods of upheaval, right? It's worked for me. So it can work for you. What he said is, if you're focused on chasing clout, make your clout be based on you not giving a shit about clout. For real. Because I don't give a shit about clout. I'm kind of just at a point and have been at a point of just really I really don't care. I care about a lot of things, but not about that. Because you're never going to change people's opinions of you. And if changing, you think part of what you're rebuilding is a brand image that makes you a product, a commodity, something that people can acquire for the right price. Right? So what's the difference between that and me, where I'm at? Well, here's the thing, I'm not the commodity. You can't acquire me for the right price. You can purchase a specific amount of time with me where I will share a specific amount, a finite amount of my time, my energy, and my focus, but you will never acquire me. Huge difference. Huge difference. Huge, huge difference. I will never be for sale. I will never modify myself just to be more easily accepted, more easily digested, because I'm not here to be digested. I'm here to be witnessed, right? If you're here to be digested, like, you got to make yourself smaller in order to be more bite size. And I've had people like asking about that, like, oh, how do you get people to watch your videos? They're so long. You either want to invest in yourself or you don't. That's how. That's literally how. You think the videos are too long? Well, then don't wonder. Don't wonder, especially to me, about why your life doesn't go the way you want it to go. You don't even want to invest in yourself. You don't even have to pay for these live streams, right? It's about loving people in such a way and accepting people in such a way where you let them choose for themselves. You either want to invest an hour in yourself so that you can understand what you need to understand, because I'm not going to tell you what to understand. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. You're going to do with what I say, whatever you're going to do with what I said. And you're free to do that. You can either use it to really experience such a depth of introspection where you are assessing yourself, not trying to see who you can blame, but seeing the ways in which your decisions gave way, gave rise, allowed certain types of experiences to unfold in the way that they did. There's no need for blame. There's just need for ownership of what you decided and allowing yourself to see how what you decided played out. Because if it's not something that's desirable, then don't decide that again. It's simple. There's no need to be like, oh, you should be ashamed. You didn't know, and this and that. Like, no. I mean, you learned, you experienced what you need to experience, and you learned and move forward. And that's it. That's it. Right. So allowing yourself to really step into a space of power, a space where you are very aware, very, very aware of causation and effect. Whatever causation you choose will have a connected effect, and you will live through that effect. You will absolutely live through that effect. Okay. Again, this is not about blame. Blame is based in ego. It's this lack of desire to take owner of your power. So what do? You go ahead and you blame someone else. Oh, I gave you my power and you misused it. Well, if someone is going to misuse the power that you give them over you, you need to rescind their access to your power. You need to take that away. Mhm. And you don't need to explain that to anyone. You don't need to make an announcement. I found that when it comes to these types of things, as we're going through the process of building and we're coming to these realizations, if you are going to take the time and the energy to explain this to someone before you walk away, that is you actually not wanting to walk away and telling them this as a low key method of giving an ultimatum. That usually doesn't work, especially not with someone like me, right? Because I am just really the type of person to be quick to be like, okay, let me pack your things up. Let me pack your things up to make sure you don't forget anything because, you're going. Bye. I'm telling you, don't play that with me. Now, if you want to talk about things and be like, hey, this and that, Emmy, and be like, well, I didn't realize, maybe I can modify some of my behaviors. Maybe I can reassess some of my mindset, perception, whatever it is. So can be more considerate of my effects on you and, but when you're making these like grand statements of I'm I'm blah 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 blah, and then I'm blah 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 blah, and then I'm leaving, taking my power and leaving. That's like I receive that as someone is like, I'm going, stop me from going. And I'm be like, do you need me to hold the door? You gonna be okay opening the door by yourself? I don't play with that. I don't play with that, and neither should you. Owning your power has nothing to do with explaining your power to other people. A lion owns its identity. How do I know this? Because a lion does not need to explain to you that it is a lion. It doesn't need to explain anything to you. It enters a space and it just exists. It has no apologies for existence. It has no tiptoeing around about what it is. It just is what it is. I just am what I am. What am I? Well, I'm not sure. But whatever it is, it's amazing. Mhm. Whatever I am, whoever I am, it's amazing. I'm still going to continue to learn about myself. I still need time to continue to learn about myself, my capacity, my capability, my purpose, my passion, all of these different things. You have to give yourself the time to live and acquire the experiences, authentic experiences that will really refine your definition of who you are. Part of the reason that I have the definition of myself that I have to this degree at this point is because of the richness of experience. When I say richness of experience, it has nothing to do with good times. Nothing to do with good times. I used to identify as a traumatized person. And I think today I finally reached a point where I don't identify as a person who has been so traumatized, it has empowered me. No, I'm a learned woman. I've learned tremendously through life. Mhm. My emotional body is adorned with the evidence of the lessons that came to defeat me and destroy me, but instead were conquered by me. And I love the fact that in saying that, my immediate, genuine response to speaking such a profound truth about myself is to take in a deep breath of absolute rebellion against the people and the circumstance that has tried my entire life to convince me that I am less than what I am, especially when I didn't know what that was. All those situations that you went through, they serve one purpose: to facilitate the deconstruction of the building that you created based on other people's perceptions of what they demanded you are. All those people who came to try and destroy you, all they did was assist in the demolition of that condemned building. It lacked structural integrity. It must be deconstructed, not destroyed. You will reuse those pieces to build your palace. You can see your palace as a palace or as a fortress. I choose to see mine as a palace at this point. Fortress carries with it the implication of malignancy. Like, I'm not strong enough to handle what's outside of those walls. That's a lie. I have a palace with open doors because guess what? Fuck around and find out. And my dumb fuck around and find out. I don't feel challenged by life anymore. I've entered into this space where I'm recognizing again, I am not a traumatized person. I'm a very learned woman whose emotional body is adorned with lessons I have conquered. I hope that you can join me in this space of perception, this space where you can see everything you've lived through and understand the gravity of what you've been able to do with what you've been forced to face. It's so important. It's so important for you to finally give yourself the credit that you have earned repeatedly. I know I don't even see myself as someone who consistently chooses the hardest way to learn, because I used to see myself as that. That's not accurate because of the fact that if I choose the hardest way to learn, that carries the implication, the assumption that I was aware there were other options. I'm never aware there's other options. I'm only aware in hindsight, but never as I'm living through it. So I'm not going to see myself as that anymore. I'm choosing to see myself as someone who welcomes elevations in challenge that lead to elevations in my perception of my elevated potential. I no longer wonder if I am enough for the purpose of helping the world. I now wonder, how can I do it and how soon? It's about accepting your purpose. It's about allowing your passion to run through your veins to clear out the bullshit that you've acquired over the years. Letting your passion be the very regulator, this fiery regulator that burns up all of the distortions and all of these beliefs that you are not enough, that you are incapable. Unwilling and incapable are two different things. And just because I've been unwilling to comply with people's ridiculousness at times does not mean I'm incapable. And just because I haven't yet shown the depth and height of my capability does not mean that depth and height does not exist. Have you ever been to the top of the Himalayas? Have you ever been to the highest peak? How do you know it exists? You don't. So how do you know it's high? Because someone else told you. But how high is it really? You won't know until you actually go. Until you experience that yourself, you won't know. You'll base it off of someone else's experiences, someone else's description. You know, I had people tell me, because at the time I had already lived in Colorado for I think like a year, 2 years, something like that, maybe 3 years. I'm not sure. I'd been in Colorado for quite some time and I've never had issues with altitude sickness. And everyone in the United States is like, oh my God, Mile High City is so high. I was like that too. Until one day I decided I was going to go to Peru. I needed to go to Peru. And where did I decide to fly into? Cusco. Yeah, I flew into Cusco, which I don't know why. Cusco is so heavily Archangel Michael. It's weird. It's like that's his city or something. But anyways, I flew into Cusco from where did we? I think we came from Bolivia. I don't know where it came from. I don't know where we came from. Or was it El Salvador? I don't know. We transferred in some international airport, and then we got on a smaller plane, and we ended up in Cusco. And here I was with my limited life experience thinking like, "I got this. I live in Colorado." Yeah. As soon as they depressurized the cabin, it was a wave of, "Ooh, I feel weird." And I walked in the airport and I was like, Oh, I must just be tired. Everyone told me, oh, Cusco's really high. I didn't think anything of it because I live in a high area. My limit is like 8,000 feet. That's my limit. Like 8,000 feet is my limit before I start. Actually, no, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. 6,000. 6,000 feet above sea level. You better have oxygen for me or I'm going to die. I'm not joking. My ass is tropical. I was born in the ocean. I belong on a little island near sea level in the middle of the ocean. That's where I belong. That's what my genetics are for. And so I realized that day, it took me maybe 2 hours to realize, yeah, I fucked around and I found out. I'm very sensitive to altitude. Mhm. Very sensitive to altitude. I can be all badass at like 5 or 6,000 feet if you give me like 2, 3 weeks to acclimate. Anything above that, if you just like drive me there, you better have oxygen for me or my lips will turn purple. I'll look cyanotic, purple bluish fingertips. I will legit come close to dying. You see, even though all those people who had actually been to Cusco had already told me about Cusco and that I should fly into um, Lima and take a 4-hour bus ride one way up to Cusco so that my body can adjust. I was like, I got this. I got this. I didn't have it. I didn't have it. Yeah, I didn't have it. But I didn't have the life experience to understand what I don't have the capacity to do. And so that's the thing. People will tell you you can't do something. We're looking at the flip side of things now. People will tell you can't do something because they couldn't do it, but does that mean you can't do it? No. It means they couldn't do it, and now you need to be prepared for possibly potentially having the same experience, but not committed to recreating the experience they shared with you. Instead, allowing what they shared to help you learn the different ways in which you can prepare. You can absolutely prepare by doing different things, but it takes time. It definitely takes time. Let me tell y'all, they tried to take me to Rainbow Mountain. I didn't even get out the car. That shit is like, I don't know, 14,000 feet above sea level. I was gasping in the car. I thought I was gonna die. Literally. I didn't even have any cell reception. I was like, they're just gonna find me dead. Is what it is. My guide said that I just needed some agua de Florida. I was like, homie, I don't think this is spiritual. He told me to splash Florida water. He said to do that. He told me to do that. Half a bottle of Florida water later, it's just, I'm gonna die. I was in the car doing that nonstop. And yeah, my lips were purple by the time they came back. Oh my gosh. Bamboo Moon. Did you know that there are no mistakes in the universe and all events, circumstances, relationships, and situations are unfolding in perfection with the timing and intelligence of the divine plan? Any apparent delay is in your favor. If something is happening for you right now, then that's perfect too. Divine timing is perfection. It's safe to trust this now. You might be wondering if anything is ever going to come together for you, or if it seems to be happening quickly now, if you're even ready for it. The answer is yes. Divine timing is always at play, whether we are letting go or trying to force something. An intelligent power that is vaster than our comparatively limited vision is always in flow, and we are part of that. We can find so much peace and joy when we realize this and learn to trust and relax in the unfolding of our divine destiny. Chinese bamboo helps us learn this wisdom of divine timing. For about 5 years of its early life, not much appears to be going on as the small roots attempt to ground themselves. Yet when they are ready, those roots are exceptionally strong and the plant suddenly grows like wildfire. There is much more going on in preparation for powerful growth than what appeared to be at the humble beginnings of the bamboo plant. So it can be with divine timing. There are periods when not much appears to be going on at all, and we can begin to expect that this will always be the case. Yet this inner preparation time allows for swift development and growth when we are ready. When we are ready. And that's the thing, you're being readied right now. You are being readied right now, and it's time for you to begin really, really understanding what you're being prepared to do. When the time for patient and thorough preparation is over, our growth can happen very quickly, and we might then be concerned that it's all too fast and we cannot keep up with it. But of course, we shall keep up with it because the inner preparation has allowed us to develop a good foundation of spiritual strength. Just like the cycles of the moon that shift from hidden light to full splendor of solar reflection, only to shift again, your unfoldment is just a matter of timing. You are being encouraged to trust in divine timing and know that all is well in your world. Rejoice. Your dreams and divine destiny are manifesting right now, whether it's obvious or not, and all will continue to unfold according to your highest good. Be at peace. You are not forgotten, nor are your gifts being over or underestimated. All is well in divine plan unfolding of which you are a part. So, everything is unfolding in the perfect time and measure. You cannot rush this process. You cannot force it. You cannot do any of that. You have to flow with it. You have to allow for all of this to happen while being very cognitively present, being aware of what you are consciously creating in order to facilitate, right? Too many spiritual people thinking they can usurp that divine timing, that divine plan. You cannot create things for yourself in that way. You can facilitate the unfoldment. You can cooperate through facilitation. You cannot create something that is not already pre-planned for you by your soul. Some people will come to me and, they'll have these things that they share about, like, oh, someone in their life has a parasite. They need the parasite removed because they're a good person, which, I don't doubt that they're a good person, but I do doubt that, the parasite is creating something that doesn't already exist in the person. Like, no, that already exists. That already exists. More recently, I had someone um, help me with an experience. They shared something with me that helped me to realize that is really who they are. That's not a parasite talking. That's a parasite causing them to be so emboldened that they are truly showing their innermost thoughts and the way they see others. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that because I don't need that kind of stuff in my life. So, whatever it is that's happening, don't be so quick to pass the buck to someone else, to something else. Take full inventory of the ways in which you have co created whatever you're experiencing. There's no need to blame. There's no need to blame. There is no need to blame. But you do have to understand which decisions led you to places you didn't want to be. Why? Well, then so you don't choose that again. That's why. That's how you take your power back and begin to understand just how powerful you are. Because if you can choose the decisions that lead to the undesirable, that means you have the power to choose a different polarity, a different positioning on the same plane of manifestation. If you can choose a negative, you can also choose a positive. If you can identify which decision took you down to the negative, then you can go ahead and remember to never choose that again. So, how have I applied this in my life? Well, I had a situation once where I allowed someone to have access to me. And in their access to me, they had the opportunity to create a ton of absolute fuckery. Yeah, no. It became an entire hailstorm of caca, right? And so now, whenever I come across someone with similar energy, I remember the energy at the beginning, not just the crappy energy at the end. Whenever someone carries that same type of energy, and I find myself having this sympathy the way I did for that person, I'm very quick to remind myself, girl, remember the last time you let something like that in? Yeah, we are good off that. Yeah, no access. Oh, but Emmy, what if? No, no, I'm not doing that anymore. No, there's no what ifs. When my intuition tells me this is going to be a repeat, this is an opportunity to repeat a lesson. No, I'm sure they're a good person. They can be a good person, a good friend to someone else. I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm good. That's not me condemning someone. That's me understanding what my soul is communicating to me. That's me having mastered a lesson. And if you've mastered a lesson, there's no point in repeating it. So why would I allow that back in? Because be a good person? Yeah, no, this is me being a good person. First to myself, and then to everyone in my environment. You need to let go of what you've been taught. Because I promise you, you and I, we've been taught by the same type of people. We have been taught the same lessons, the same distortions, and to swallow the same lies. You are a good person. Your needs matter. And you need to begin making decisions to support your healing, not the access of people who have no intention of healing themselves. Because a lot of these people that will do these things to you, they have no intention of healing. They identify as a wound in order to ensnare those who are just like you. They are just like you. All these other people that those type of individuals chew up and spit out, they were just like you. Be careful of the people who are so eager to tell you what so and so has done to them. I'm not saying don't listen. I'm saying be careful. Because if they can be so vocal about what so and so has done to them as though they've never done anything wrong, and there's a long list of people who have done these things and they've never done anything wrong, they don't understand. There's a very high likelihood you're the next one they're going to be talking about to someone else. So instead of continuing these cycles, focus on your growth. Focus on your healing. Focus on rebuilding your castle walls so that it can be the most magnificent palace. Fill it full of life. Fill it full of living things, your living dreams, dreams that can continue to grow and expand until it becomes projected into your reality, until it becomes an actual tangible part of your life. Stop wasting your energy on those who are bottomless pits. There are people who exist who are bottomless pits. That's not everyone. The reason I'm telling you this is because the bottomless pit people are drawn to those who shine the brightest light, people just like you. How do I know this? You and I are reflections of each other. Why do you think you're drawn to me and I'm drawn to you? There's resonance. If you have to live through it to understand, I completely respect that. But if you can learn it by just listening and applying what you've heard me say today and every other day, as you look at some of your past history, past experiences, and you begin to see the ways in which this applies to you, the ways in which my solutions can also be implemented into your life. You don't need to experience that to learn it if you've already learned it. Soul is extremely efficient. If the experience is being allowed for you to learn and you learn that lesson before the experience, soul moves on to a different lesson. You don't need to experience it anymore. Soul is efficient. Soul is extremely efficient. So you have to be able to trust in soul, because even though soul will allow some difficulties to be experienced by you to facilitate your learning, it will also create a pathway for you to learn it in the most expeditious manner possible in order to really just move on to the next thing. But if you're going to fight soul because you're pissed that soul allowed blah 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 to happen, then yeah, no, you're going to struggle through that longer than you need to. It's okay. When you struggle through something longer than you need to, you actually learn a more nuanced version of that same lesson. But if you don't like that, then don't do that. Right? It's not about blame. It's about making decisions and allowing those decisions to lead to new experiences, to lead to experiences that are felt in a new way. It doesn't have to be the same old thing all the time. It doesn't. It really, really doesn't. Okay. I've been live far longer than what I was trying to be live for. I hope that my rambling has helped y'all. Okay. In some way, shape, or form. I don't know how, but I trust that for those that needed to hear something, that you received what you needed to hear. I do plan to be live later today to do readings and scans. Also, on Wednesday, I believe, Wednesday evening, y'all, I have a whole bunch of crystals that I'm going to be auctioning, and these are I put some up on the website, y'all. Some of these crystals are just I'm never gonna have an opportunity, but I have so many crystals. I have so many. This it just it's so I'll be live later tonight for scans and readings. I'll see if I'm willing to do energy work. We will see. And then on Wednesday, I'll make a post. I'm going to be doing crystals. These are crystals I've never showed you guys. They're still in their bubble wrap. Don't judge me. You already got me fucked up on my cuticles. My cuticles. I will fix that. Okay, I will fix that. But crystals on Wednesday. I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your day. Give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. I have a whole bunch of things that I am gearing up for. I'll share with you guys very soon. Very, very soon. And for those of you who messaged me last week, you were concerned with my silence and absence. I'm sorry I didn't respond back. Um, you know, your girl be moody. Your girl be going through things that she just, you know. And it was just one of those things, you know what I'm saying? This is one of those things. I will respond to everyone very soon. Very soon. So I love you guys. I'll see you again very, very soon. Have an amazing rest of your day. See you tonight, 5:30 p.m., 4:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bye, everyone.